Welcome to episode 27 of the podcast. I'm going to make sure that we're live on Facebook here, and then we're going to dive right in. All right. Today, I wanted to talk to you about getting results in coaching. I just wrapped up my mini mastermind. So we did celebrations and evaluations inside of there. And I also just shared something from my personal life 8 years ago and then also 3 years ago. So I'm gonna talk about both, and then I will invite you and just let you know what it's like to work with me, because I got several options right now to work with me starting at $47 a month. So I want everybody to get the help and support that they need right now in the world that is 2025. And I want to talk to you about what results are possible. So firstly, I want to celebrate my client. We just finished up an 8-week mini mastermind. My client came to me making about $1,000 a month. And in the past 8 weeks, he made $6,000. Like in 8 weeks, $6,000. Okay. Like what? And we did this by doing very, very simple things, like very simple things. The way to create results anywhere in your life or in your business or in your relationship or in your body is by first starting with the thoughts that you are thinking. Now, the thoughts that you are thinking are related to the person that you're being. So what I always start off with is, who do you need to become in order to create those results in your life? And one of the main mistakes I see, especially for beginning business owners, is they have this thing that I would call wishful thinking. That's like, well, of course I'm going to make $1 million. Well, of course clients are just going to find me. Like, I'm so amazing. I'm so magnetic. Because I work with like a lot of highly intelligent people who maybe came out of corporate or came out of job. They found a skill, whether they're a Reiki practitioner, a massage therapist, a real estate agent. And now they're like, yeah, well, of course, people work with me. So they might have wishful thinking, thinking people are just going to come to them. And what we need to really work on is developing the skill of sales and marketing and becoming a person who that's all you do all day long is you sell and you market. And I think that is something that's, at least when I started in business, I thought when I became a personal trainer that like people were just going to come to me. And I didn't realize that early on. And that's why I always have been working with coaches, is because I needed to learn the skills of mastering my mindset, my marketing, and my sales. So that is one of the ways that we get results, is we start to think like somebody who believes in themselves and believes in the ability to sell and offer something. Because if you're going to have a business, you are your number one sales and marketer until you become a person that can hire somebody to do sales and marketing for you. But in the beginning, I recommend you do your own social media, you do your own sales and marketing, because of the person you change into. Like now, when I look at myself now compared to 2015 when I first started, it was so hard for me to show up. I was like always annoyed, didn't want to, wanted to go play outside, like wanted to be a teenager, and that's fine. But I've learned to become a person. I just show up every day on social media. That's just what I do. It's not even hard. It's just like, yep, of course I'm going to do that. That's just who I am, because I've built a 6-figure business. I created that identity by showing up consistently. Now, this is the same thing if you're going after a health change in your health. I had a client come to me, and I just shared this evaluation from a client that came to me from TikTok. And was asking the question, like, what's the difference between life coaching and therapy? And I'm going to say this in her words, okay? I'm going to say this in her words, and then I'm going to tell you my experience between life coaching and therapy, what they're used for, what the difference is. And sometimes this is triggering to therapists. However, I typically work with a lot of friends and colleagues that are a coach and a therapist, and they understand the difference. So what I always say is, like, we're not in competition. Like, I'm not in competition with a therapist. I think that they are valuable to have both, and there are different ways to use both. But when this specific client came to me, she was wanting to change the way she showed up in like dating, in her friendships, in her health, in the way she dealt with her finances, and the way she dealt with like this specific sport that she was playing that she wanted to be better at. And she came to me with this thought of like, well, I did therapy for a long time and I felt like it was just talking and I wasn't getting results. And she was like, well, how is this going to be different? So I want to take the time to delineate that, and I want to celebrate her results as well. So I think therapy is highly beneficial. And I think like a lot of my clients, probably 50% of my clients, have either had a therapist or are currently working with a therapist. They might have a diagnosis. So the way I delineate it is, if you are operating below baseline, right? If you're experiencing anxiety, depression, medical conditions that require a diagnosis, you're going to go to therapy for that reason. That is why we have therapists. They are highly trained, highly skilled, highly educated, and extremely valuable. Now, when we move on to life coaching is when we want to create a result. And the reason why is because like therapists have specific ways that they need to operate because they are operating within a system that has specific guidelines. So they're not generally allowed to give you advice and say, hey, you're thinking about this wrong, right? They're there to listen and counsel you and get you to baseline to where you're feeling better and you can go out about your day. Now, you're definitely going to set goals and you're definitely going to get to baseline. But the reason I bring this up is because I had a colleague who is a life coach and a therapist, both, and he talks about like baseline being the reason, right? Typically, the therapists, they're covered by insurance. You go there when you're in a crisis, whenever you're going through something big, like a divorce, like getting fired, like something that is big and potentially like causing a lot of emotion in your body. And you go there to talk about it. That is the purpose of it. You go there to typically unpack trauma and talk about your family history. And that is the purpose of it. Now, when this client came to me and she was asking me what the difference between life coaching and therapy is, I gave her this answer because this is the answer my colleague gave me, who is both a life coach and a therapist. And again, I know sometimes therapists don't like this, but again, I'm not saying this in any way to trigger anybody in this sense. I'm just describing it for clients who need to know the difference of when to pick which. So, for example, for this client, she really wanted to start being on her health journey. She didn't understand like how this was going to get better. And I broke down the process that I use. So because I work with people who are high achievers, they're smart, they're intelligent, and they're typically very hard on themselves, one of the first things that I do is help them stop this all or nothing thinking, to help them stop judging themselves so harshly. And then the second thing we do is we break down their goals into small, tiny, tangible, bite-sized goals. So that client that got to 6K, we started by just helping him sign one client at a time. This client who came to me, who wanted to work on her health, she was like, well, I want to start working out for an hour a day. And I said, absolutely not. I said, we're going to start with something small. What is the smallest thing you can do? And she's like, I can get on the bike for 5 minutes. I said, perfect. So we use the philosophy of tiny habits, which is a psychological principle, to help her break down the steps into really small bits. And then we celebrated those each and every week. So foundationally, what I helped her do was to stop judging herself so harshly. Then this led to her becoming a person who followed through, who started to feel proud of herself. This raised her vibration. This raised her energy up. She started doing more things around the house. She started like not just laying on the couch at night. She started going on walks. She even started wearing shorts in the summer. She stopped judging her body and her weight. And then she started dating. And the way she started dating was to start to view it as something fun, something that was no pressure. And the reason I brought this specific client up is because number one, she found me on TikTok. Like she found me on TikTok just the way you might find me on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you're watching this on YouTube. She found me from watching a video of mine describing the difference between life coaching and therapy. And then she reached out and she booked a consult call. And this is a couple of years now since we've worked together, but she sent me an email a few months ago talking about how she just got engaged to this person that she started dating when we were coaching together and how her life has completely transformed and changed as a result of the coaching that we did together. So the reason I bring this up is because coaching is always results focused. That is what you're paying me for. You are paying me to be there with you every week to help you love yourself more deeply, accept yourself more deeply, chill the F out a lot of times. But in doing so, we set tiny goals. We make tiny progress that builds momentum into large and bigger goals. Because we're no longer stuck in all or nothing thinking. We're no longer judging ourselves. We're no longer like taking a lot of breaks. We're like, no, every single day I'm going to do something towards this goal. So I wanted to celebrate that client who was a life coaching client. She worked with me for 6 months. Actually, I think she might have worked with me for 9 months. Because in order to become a new person, a different person, you have to practice it over and over again. So that is why I work with my one-on-one clients for a length of 6 months at a time at minimum. If you're building a business, I always say building a business, you've got to have a 1-year vision and then you've got to be consistently working on that vision for 1 year. So if you're a business owner and you're looking for coaching, then I would recommend we work together for a year. And this is something that we talk about when when you book a consult with me. But I wanted to share those results. We had a client that made 6K. I had another client who learned how to date, learned how to love herself. Like these are not small things. These are huge things, especially when you've lived your life for so long, doubting yourself, not feeling good enough. That is primarily what I work with my clients on. And then thirdly, I wanted to talk about being in a group, because this is something that I've recently launched. I have two groups going on right now. The first one is called ResilentAF. It is my breathwork and intuitive coaching group. That's my $47 program, $47 a month. Our next meeting is going to be the second week of October. So if you're watching this in real time, second week of October, that's a way for you to jump in at $47 a month. Now, within this group, we do breathwork. The reason we do breathwork is to feel our feelings. This is the number one thing that transformed my life, was instead of being so logical, instead of trying to think everything through, instead of trying to look perfect and keep it all together, I allowed myself to completely feel my feelings. This is one of the things that life coaching taught me. When I went to a retreat in Bali in 2018, I learned how to cry for the first time for real. Like for real, for real. Before, I would just try to hold it in. I would not let anybody see me cry. I didn't want to feel vulnerable. And now I am at one with my emotion. Whether it's disappointment, anger, sadness, grief, despair, hopelessness, vulnerability, feeling raw, feeling afraid. Like, I've learned how to feel my feelings. And the reason why this is so valuable, this is the thing that helped me to get to 6 figures in my own business, is that I know that I now can handle any circumstance that life gives me. And I have been through some tough circumstances in the past 18 months. And I've talked about this openly on the podcast. But because I learned how to feel my feelings, and because I learned how to be in a group situation where I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable, where I'm allowing myself to feel and heal, I've healed relationship patterns that I've had in my life. I used to date a narcissist. I always dated like assholes. I'm now married to an actual nice person. Like, this was not something that I could ever do before. It was something that coaching took me through to be able to be with somebody who treats me well, because I had such low self-worth. And I had a lot of feelings I didn't know how to process. So this is what my breathwork coaching community is for. And we also tap into our intuition and to our faith. Because if you don't believe you're here for a purpose, if you're not connected to God, universe, source, angels, like if you're not connected to a higher power, we will feel so alone. We will feel so desperate. It will feel like, what's the point? So through breath work, we access higher levels of consciousness. And this is the point of life. This is why we're here. I believe that we are here to ascend, to raise the vibration of ourselves and for others and in our communities. That is what happens when you're doing the work with yourself, is you're actually shifting the entire energy of the world through yourself and through your community first. So now, the other thing that I've developed in the past 2 years, and this is one of my challenges, was to develop a group business coaching program that only has the basics. Like, I want you to have the basics in order to start making money now. And so I have this offer. It is the 8-week Abundant Business Mini Mastermind. So it's the mini mastermind where you can get all of the recordings. It's very affordable. It's only $397. You can get access to that program right now as a DIY. You can watch all the recordings right now today. And I gave this as an introductory offer to people who was like, I just want to get started. I just want to learn the mindset, the strategy, the sales and marketing so that I can get my business off the ground so that I can have $1,000 offer so that I can start making multiple thousands of dollars each month. And this is what I've been doing with my clients for the past 8 weeks. I recorded it and I put it into a program that is very affordable for you. So you can jump in as a beginning business owner and get the mindset, the strategy, the skills to develop and make more money in your business. Now, on the back end of that, I have a longer offer. So I have the mini mastermind, the 8-week. That is the thing where you can jump in. It's basically a boot camp. So I call it like a boot camp. It is an 8-week boot camp where you go through the recordings. So there's no group access to that. It is just a pre-recorded group that I just finished up. Now, if you know that you want to be supported more deeply, this is one of the things that completely transformed my life and my business. I've always been in a group coaching container since 2015. My very first coaching container was a mastermind that I joined with about 30 other women. And it was transformational because we were all working through things together. We were all learning skills together. And so I'm doing my live mastermind. Live means live on Zoom each week. And we start in early November. It's that first week of November. We meet on that first week. So that will be, let me just check the date here. If you're watching this in real time, it'll be November 6th. So November 6th is our first day where we are meeting. And the reason I wanted to get this podcast out early was to give you time to consider this mastermind so that you're not like, where, what? I missed it. I didn't know it was coming. So I want you to know this mastermind is starting on November 6th. And the investment is going to be $2,000. So $2,000 for 6 months. What you're going to get inside of this mastermind is everything that's in the mini, so you're going to get, no matter what, you're going to get those 8 recordings that is in that mini bootcamp. We already talked about those 8 recordings in that mini bootcamp. It comes with the mastermind because it is the foundation of what we teach. But essentially what you're doing in this mastermind each and every month is we will have 2 group coaching calls. So if you've never been in a group coaching container, if you've never been on a coaching call ever, this is an opportunity for you to get hot seat coaching. So hot seat coaching is where you bring your problem. You're like, hey, this is what's going on in my business. I don't feel like showing up. What do I do on social media? This person said this person said no to my offer. And you get live coaching right there within the group. And the beautiful thing about being in a group business container is that when you bring something, it's always going to be valuable to the group. When you watch somebody else get coached, it's always going to be valuable to you because you get to see from an outside perspective. You're like, oh, I'm dealing with that too. Oh, I see how my mindset is getting in the way of me. And I can see that because I'm watching somebody else get coached, right? So this is where you get to ask questions. You get real-time feedback and guidance. And this is where you get the accountability for your business. Because like I talked about in the beginning of this, a lot of people have wishful thinking. And we know this is true because at the beginning of the year, New Year's resolutions, everybody has wishful thinking. By the end of the year, I'm going to lose 30 pounds. By the end of the year, I'm going to make 50K. I'm going to make 5K each month. I'm going to make 100K. And they have this wishful thinking without an actual plan and without actual accountability. And so the purpose of having coaching each week is to get somebody who has the mindset and the skills to coach you so that you can get the results too. I created 6 figures in my business, in my life coaching business within 3 years by doing this process. So what I tell people is it's completely possible for you to double your revenue in a period of 6 months. That is our goal. So if you're coming in at $1,000 a month, we're definitely going to be able to get you to $2,000 a month, at least when you show up for the coaching, when you do the work, when you do the evaluations, when you take the coaching and apply it. So you will have 2 group coaching calls per month where you get to bring anything that you have to the call. And you also get access to the replays and the recordings. So you can listen to them and get yourself coached up, make sure that your mindset is on point every single week. And then we also have 1 monthly training. So some of the things that I've trained on in the past, and I'll continue to train on in this mastermind over the 6 months, is because it's so foundational. So it is sales mastery. You've got to learn how to sell and not feel sleazy and not feel bad about selling. Like in order to make money, you have to master selling. So that is the main purpose of this mastermind, is for you to learn how to sell, right? Now, a lot of people will be coming, like I have a few clients, maybe 50% of my clients, they've come from a sales background, but they were selling something else. They were selling somebody else's thing. They were working in corporate. So we also need to learn how to sell ourselves, how to come up with a product, right? A service, how to come up with the price. So we're going to make sure that we're covering all of that so that you have a specific product, a specific service that you're selling, and you know how to sell it. You know what the price is, and you feel confident selling it. Then we're going to work on your marketing, right? Like your marketing is letting people know that what you have to offer, right? Like I said, in the beginning of my business, I just thought people were going to come to me, but you have to meet people. You got to do your online marketing, your social media marketing, your networking, right? And a lot of people like, I don't want to do that, but I'm like, listen, that's the only way. You've got to meet people. They have to know that you exist. They're not just going to find you in a secret way. And I don't teach spending money on ads before you just go meet a person. Meeting a person is free. So foundationally, what grew my business was having a mindset coach and a business coach at all times. It wasn't fancy funnels. It wasn't fancy website. It wasn't big branding packages. I'm teaching you the basics to learn how to make money with your mind. So once you get confident through your messaging, the words that you say to people, you will have people reaching out to you. That's what we want. And then we also address your consistency, right? Consistency is the thing that builds trust. So you showing up consistently is the thing that's going to bring more clients in for you. We talk about your sales, your marketing, your consistency, your messaging, overcoming objections. And then we always are doing evaluations, because evaluations is going to show you how you specifically create clients. So within this community, it is a relatively small group. So that means on these calls, it's most likely that you will be able to get coached within this group and you'll be able to have access to those replays. You're going to be able to connect with people who get it, right? Like other service-based women entrepreneurs that get it. So you don't feel so alone. And we're not just going to be there talking about problems. We are always going to be there being solution focused. And if you decide this is something you want to jump in on early in the month of October, I have 2 bonus one-on-one coaching calls for you. And I also have payment plans available for you. So if you're resonating with this and you're like, hey, I know I need to do something, like it's getting close to the end of the year. We have 3 months left of the year. What results do you still want to create? Because we have plenty of time to create those results within this year, but this is going to require you taking some type of action, right? So whether it's reaching out to me for one-on-one coaching, whether it's deciding, hey, I want to do the $47 thing because I want to be feeling into my emotions. I want to use breath work to develop my resilience so I can continue to show up in my life, in my business, or I want to go all in on my business. I want to make sure that I'm getting the support and the coaching that I need to double my revenue, to go through hard times, to evaluate things when I have failures. That is what the mastermind is for. And then I also have this other mini offer that's just a recording of my 8-week bootcamp for the Abundant Business. So those are all of the options that you have to work with me right now. I wanted to make sure I got this out to you early. So I'm going to send this out via email and on YouTube here. But what I want to leave you with is this is not about me. Like anytime I do a video, it is about you believing in your ability to get results. The reason we usually don't invest in a program or don't invest in coaching, like the number one reason is like we think we somehow can't afford it. But really the real reason is because we don't actually believe in our ability to get results. We're always questioning like, will this work for me? I'm not sure if I'll get results. Like, I don't know. I've failed at so many other things. I haven't made the money in my business yet. Like, why is it going to work now? And what I always say is you're always going to be working towards the results. But if you do nothing, if you change nothing, if you don't keep investing, if you don't keep looking, if you don't keep moving in the forward progress of your results, you just won't get results. So you can decide to stay questioning yourself, like, will I get results? Will this work for me? Or you can decide to take the next step into moving forward into creating results in your life. I know for me, anytime I felt stalled or stagnant or stuck, it's because my brain was telling me, I don't know how to do this. I don't know if this is going to work for me. I'm not sure. And I started questioning myself. And then I started stepping into, hold on a second. I know who I am. I am smart. I am resilient. I am persistent. I'm going to figure things out. I'm never going to give up. And if I join a freaking program, I'm going to get results. That is just who I've become. That's my identity now. I show up as the student who is engaged, who is here to get the damn results because I invested in it. Because it is painful when we make an investment, right? We're like, ooh, that was quite a bit of money. So anytime I make my prices, I do a couple low price things. Like I wanted to give people the gift of breath work. So I made it $47 a month. But if you're building a business, the investment needs to match the results that you're going to get. Like I said, my client created $6,000 in 8 weeks. Imagine what he's going to create in the next 6 months inside this program. All of my clients have the ability and capacity to get to 6 figures. That's $8,000 a month. A lot of my clients are getting to the $4,000 mark, the $5,000 mark per month. And they're learning how to create a sustainable business. They're leaving their part-time jobs. They're able to go on trips. They're able to make investments. They're able to put money towards savings, pay off credit cards. Like, you got to know that this is possible for you. And any time that you stall and you stop and you question, that is a signal for you to take an action. I don't even care if it's with me. Like, use this to activate you into doing something. But I'll tell you, it's really fun to coach with me because I take serious things and we make them fun. We make them playful because with breath work, what we do, there's so many deep emotions. Like, gosh, it makes me want to throw up. Like the feelings I've felt over the past 18 months make me want to throw up. But what that also means is I am so alive. I am going after my goals. And I am failing, face planting, face forward over and over again. And I felt shame and failure and like low self-worth and like imposter syndrome. Like I'm feeling all the feelings. I've been in your shoes where I'm just like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know if this is going to work. And my coach pulled me up and pulled me out and said, listen, this is not who you are. You are bigger than your problems. You are bigger than your challenges. You are bigger than 2025. You are bigger than your bank account. Like, you're bigger than whatever anybody says about you. And every time I'm in the energy of my coach, I become that version of me. This is the power of coaching. This is why when you try to do it alone, you don't get anywhere. It has nothing to do with your ability or your intelligence or how smart you are. It just is a fact that coaches help you to get to where you need to go. Think about any Olympic athlete that is working on a crazy big goal, being the best of the best of the best. They have a coach to get them there, because it is not easy to go after your goals. If it was, everybody would make six figures. If it was, everybody would have a business. If it was, everybody would have the best relationship. Everyone would have the best body, right? It's not easy, but it's fun when you have a coach by your side, because you're feeling like, I'm making progress. I'm moving in the direction of my goals. So I'm saying this to say, take an action today. And the easiest action you can take right now is to send me a direct message, either on Facebook or on Instagram or on TikTok, wherever you're watching. Or you can go and book a free consultation with me and let's just talk. Like, let's just see where you are. Let's just talk about it. Taking the step to be vulnerable enough to say, hey, this is where I'm at. I'm feeling disappointed about these things, but I'm taking a step to make a change. That is where we start with coaching. Okay. So you can head to my website, camikennedy.vip. That's the direct link to book a consult, or just send me a direct message. Let's have a conversation. I am so activated this year because of everything I've gone through for the past 18 months. Like, I will continue. I always say I yell at people. Like, I will continue to yell at people to help get them activated and into motion and out of the funk and out of the sadness and out of the, I don't know if I can do this. Like, no, we are not doing that anymore. We are not doing that anymore. Okay. This is what my coach does for me. This is what I want to do for you. So reach out to me. Let's find a way for us to work together. There's plenty of ways. There's plenty of price points, but let's do something to move you forward in the direction of your dreams, of your goals. You can do private life coaching with me, right? That's everything. Or if you're business specific, we can do business. And if you want to process your emotions, we can do breath work together. So reach out to me. Thank you for watching. I got to hop off to talk to another potential client on a consult. I will see y'all next week.